I know this is a podcast because I saw it on that TV. It said, "Welcome, Mark, to our podcast." Oh, and Ozzy. And Ozzy.
I told him I'm not saying anything tonight. I'm just going to sit here.
Good. Peace in the camp. All right, June 12th. This is the 12th of June. That's kind of hard to believe, you know, of 2014.
Came up quick.
Obama's still president, and whatever
that
means.
I'm not going to say anything tonight. I'm just going to let you talk.
Your tube's right on the microphone.
Oh, well, we got to get rid of that. Thank you. Seems that I was messing with the sound here. I'll do something there. There we go. Anyhow, it is June 12th. This is podcast number 7. Lucky number 7.
Slucky.
Speaking of 7, I saw on YouTube or AZ Billiards or something that Shane's playing 10-ball over in the Philippines and made 7 balls on a 10-ball rack. Okay.
Was that true?
I believe it. Yeah, they're playing some challenge matches. I don't know some of the people over there. I mean, I spent 2 weeks in Thailand in about 2006 or 7. Loved it, and they had some pretty good pool players, and they had a lot of pool rooms, and I think they've opened even more of them since then. So it's a good place. And everybody and their brothers over there. I saw Corey's there, Appleton, Shane. It's almost as good as our tournament in July. Almost.
Not that good.
Almost. Well, we've got 16. They only got 3 or 4. In a minute, we'll start off on the industry news. I just want to welcome everybody for coming here, and we'll be touching on the industry news and our nationals in July, which is, we moved into the hotel in 1 month. It's getting close.
It's easy.
Well, you know, most people would lose hair on this concern. You'll probably grow some.
Fine. I'm ahead of the curve.
Yeah, ahead of the curve. Yeah, okay. Anyhow, here we are. We're going to be knocking this one out. We'll be here for 1 hour, a glorious hour.
And Justin has informed us.
That the power goes down.
He has somewhere to be at 7:30. So at 7 o'clock, regardless of where you are in your Alaska rant, we're out of here.
Yeah. You know, I want you to know that I actually have people contact me and says, I'd love to sit down and listen to some of your Alaskan table mechanic stories.
I don't doubt it at all. And I would say, I would invite those people to come to the Rio.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Sure. And buy me dinner. And we'll sit up there on the drinks, and I'll
You need a wingman? Let me know. I'm up for a free dinner.
All right. Give us some industry news, because there's some pretty cool stuff going on. There always is.
Well, I will say, usually what I do is I look back at the last couple weeks since our last podcast and see what's going on in the industry. And really, there were some things going on, but the biggest thing really was the 2014 China Open.
Yes.
Format was a little odd, a little different than we're used to here, but it started with 64 men. Had a women's division with 48 women. And apparently what I could discern from the article is 64 men played in, I don't know if it was a double elimination bracket or what, but 32 advanced.
I think they do something and then they go to,
it's
not round
really
robin.
It seemed like a round robin, but it was a
No, it was
odd.
round robin. No, they're mini brackets. They're 8-man brackets. Okay. And the top winner and the top 4 people out of each bracket. That gives you your 32.
Okay. So
2 on the winner's side, 2 on the loser's side. So you got to win 2 matches and you get out of the bracket to get to your 32. They're pre-spotted to where they go on them, and that's how you get your 30. That's not an unusual. All the world events do that, just about. Yeah.
So the first goal was to make the cut, the top 32.
Yeah.
But the winner of the men's event was Yu Lung Chang.
From Taiwan, yes.
From Taiwan, which caught my attention because we have 4 Taiwan players.
And we're supposed to have the top 4, and he beat them all.
He did. He did. And in the women's event, it was Han Yu. She won the women's, and she's from China.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing I noticed, Mark, when I was looking at the list of the top 32 that made the cut, is 9 of those are in our invitational event.
Yeah.
Starting with, in this order, Jung Lin Chang from Taiwan finished 3rd. Shane Van Boning finished 5th. Torsten Homan finished 5th. John Mora finished 9th. Ralph Souquet finished 9th. Dennis Orcolo finished 9th. Darren Appleton, Corey Doole, and Penyi Ko all finished 17th.
Yeah, and I don't know too much about the matches. I didn't watch that much. I saw a little bit of Facebook on scores and everything. I know Appleton lost hill to Ralph. Scratched on the last break, I believe it was. It's a shame that, and we talked about it. We were going to submit a proposal of sending that. This would have been fun, but sending Justin to these world tournaments and stuff like that to do the streaming, because this is stupid. I mean, they got more money and technology over in China, and we can't get a stream that we can watch. I know there's some people who are getting to watch it through it, but it's odd.
And you really jumped ahead of the curve because there's a question from AZ
Oh.
on that very topic.
Yeah, it's just
So
nuts.
we'll get to that in the end.
Yeah. And Justin, he was all ready to go, except he said we'd have to give him 3 seats, first class, in a private jet. And, you know, it's just
You didn't give him the CSI private jet?
Yeah, it was busy, you know.
Taking you to Alaska?
Yeah, taking me to Alaska. No, we can pick that up in your questions section then. But
Yep.
so
So that really was the industry news.
Yeah.
for the
Isn't
last
there?
2 weeks.
Because as we were trying to acquire the players for our invitational, we ran into a lot of players. There's another event coming up in China. It starts on the 28th, I believe. It's one day after our event, and it cost us it caused some stress on us to find out who we were going to have and everything, just because they were committed to be in China 2 days before the event, which means they can't be in 2 places at once.
Yep.
So
Their work.
I can't remember what the event is.
Just to be, I can't remember the name. I wouldn't want to try to guess at it, but it did cost us a couple players
Yep.
that we invited. They couldn't go because they were committed to that, and a couple others really had to think about it.
Yep.
But they did commit to us. So good news.
Yep.
Well, that's
Good.
the industry stuff. Let's switch to some CSI news.
We can do that.
The major focus is the BCA Pool League and USA Pool League National Championships coming up just right around the corner.
1 month and 3 days.
July
days.
16th through the 26th at the beautiful Rio All Suite Hotel and Casino.
In sunny Las Vegas.
And
Very
actually,
hot and sunny Las Vegas.
we sent out a press release, mass email, Facebook, the whole 9 yards yesterday, letting everybody know that the entry deadline for those events, June 16th, which I think is Monday, that's it. That's the deadline. You have to be in by June 16th.
And there's a reason for those dates. There's a lot of bodies, a lot of paperwork, a lot of verification, which comes into, which we'll be having more discussions, but in case somebody just is snippeting on this thing. That's why the numbers take so long to get accurate on our CTS on demand. It tells you who's in the tournament. We're well over halfway, obviously, but our numbers are almost exact as last year's, even though everybody's making these comparisons. But you're comparing 60% of the information to 100% of the information, and it's because we get deluged with entries at the deadlines, and it takes 2 or 3 weeks to verify everything, because we have to have all this done and do the draw, you know, a week before the tournament, so we can lay out the tables and do the charts, and that's why we need 3 weeks, 4 weeks before the tournament. It's unfortunate, because I'm always one of those, let them in at the last minute. When you get this big, there is no last minute. You cannot do it.
You could do it in dribs and drabs, perhaps.
Nah, all you do is get
but
yourself in trouble.
Yeah, if you had a policy that you'll take it up to the...
Nah. Then you'd have 200 people shining up at 9 o'clock for 9 o'clock matches.
You'd have 3,000 at the last day. You just can't handle it.
So
June 16th is the deadline, folks. Please get your entries in by the end of Monday. Period.
Yeah.
Lots of cool stuff going on at that
Oh,
tournament.
this still...
We've been hammering it every podcast, all of them, since number one.
If you've never been to this event, there's 2 events that I consider the premier events, and they're very different. But I consider ours as the premier event for amateur and some pros, and the Derby City for the higher level action, you know, that type of stuff. Yeah, there's other events. There's the Super Billiards Expo. There's the U.S. Open 9-ball, but they're different. They're just a different flavor, you know. And I think if somebody ever has to go to 2 events, it's our event and it's the Derby City. And you get to see just about anybody that's anybody, and you get to see some great action, a lot of people, and some great pool.
Yep. So, get your entries in by Monday. Lots of events for everybody. There are singles events, doubles events, team events. And if you're not a BCA Pool League member or USA Pool League member, you can still play. You're still eligible for the singles and doubles events, depending on your skill level. All you have to do is purchase a player membership for $25. Can play in lots of great events,
And
free tables,
free table.
all week.
It gets you that
No
allows
tokens.
you full table time, and you can play in the minis. So you know, if you think you're good enough and you want to just see if you can take off a bunch of minis, come on out and take your shot. You know,
And
the weather's warm, the water's warm.
Get to watch all the pro stuff absolutely free.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things, and I mean, there's 313, is that where we're at? 313 tables, I think, 312?
Depends on how you're counting, but somewhere in that neighborhood.
And it's a lot of tables. More tables than any other tournament, you know. And we're the largest tournament type as far as table count. And it's just, there's just a lot to do. We have a lot. We brought in, we're going to have another 20 or 30 tables from over last year for practice. And that was one of our beefs last year. We didn't have enough practice tables, but that's also because we had a power outage because of 73-mile tornadoes in, or whatever typhoons. What do they call them in Vegas? It must have been a typhoon.
You called it a tropical storm.
Well, this is tropical. I think typhoon sounds better, just because it had to come all the way from California, because the typhoon's in the water, right?
All the way from California?
Yeah.
I could throw a rock to California from here.
Well, I doubt that. But I mean, we heard some comments about not enough tables for practice. We listened. We brought in another 25 tables that are dedicated for practice or so. Go ahead.
Good segue to talk about the pro.
Yeah.
Stuff
Segue
that's
away.
Going on. Again, if you're watching this, you're probably well aware, but just in case anybody was in the closet or asleep, 2 fantastic pro events that are going to be held in conjunction with the BCA Pool League National Championships. CSI Invitational 10-ball and CSI Invitational 8-ball. The 10-ball event is July 18th through the 20th. The 8-ball event is the 23rd through the 22nd.
Excuse me? 23rd through the 22nd?
23rd through the 23rd.
You have to play very fast to be in this tournament.
That's right. Backwards. 16 players, 4 regions. The 4 regions are North America, Europe, Philippines, and Asia. But they are not the competitive groups. Those are the regional groups. Each competitive group is going to consist of 1 player from each region. There you have the 10-ball event, Group A, Group B, Group C, and Group D. Those guys will compete in 4-player round robins, 3 matches each. The winner of every group will advance to a 4-person single elimination bracket.
Right.
Till we have a winner.
And there's
Then we'll take a 2-day break to do some other really cool things that we'll talk about, and then we'll go into the 8-ball championship. And Justin has just put up the 8-ball groups, which are different. No 2 players will be in the same group.
Right. No, it shakes it up a little bit. That's good. And then all the 8-ball and the 10-ball, the invitational, they are live streamed. There's 1 table that'll be live streamed all the time. And if you stay in the hotel, Justin will loop that, so you get to watch it 24/7.
Yep. And actually, a little clarification on that point. We're going to have a main stream table. These invitationals are going to be played off 2 tables. And we're calling it Table 1 and Table 2 in our layout. Table 1 will be the mainstream table, and we're going to have, I think, 3 cameras. Justin, you can correct me if I'm wrong. And Table 2 will have at least 1 camera, so that, you know, if the action's a little hot and heavy on Table 2, we'll just switch over.
Yep.
So
And
it's going to be great.
Yep. And limited seating. The VIP, I think there's 40 seats total for the tables 1 and table 2.
And they're running out, so if you want VIP seats, go to playbca.com.
And then there's bleachers for about 400 people.
Yep.
Which, you know, it's who knows how many people will show up to sit down, and it's designed so most people aren't going to sit there all day. They're going to go in between their matches and this and that. It'll be a constant churn of spectators.
There's the VIP seats.
Yeah.
There you go. And like I said, there are only 40 of those folks, and they're going pretty quick. They're starting to heat up.
Yep.
Had a gentleman today email, and he bought a couple. But they're running out, so if you want seats for front and center action, get them before they're gone.
Well, you can see that there's no bad seats and there's no bad seats in the whole arena and everything. And we're pretty excited. I expect when you get to some of the really, really good matches or some of the challenge matches, which you can tell them about in a minute, that those areas near the corners will just be full of bodies. That's how it's been before.
Yep.
You know, and that's the problem. It's feast or famine when it comes to seats for a sporting event. You either have 3 people in the stands or 3,000 trying to fit in 200 seats.
Yep. And while we're looking at that graphic there, Mark, one thing I'd like to point out to folks, the VIP seats have 2 prices. The ones that are more expensive are the ones lined around table number 1. If you could scroll down again, Justin.
Yeah,
Table number 1 is a primary TV table. And the reason those seats are a little more expensive is because of the challenge matches.
Yeah.
Because they'll be played on table number 1, the primary TV table. And when that occurs, table number 2 will be offline, and we're going to pull seats 17 through 24 around the back side of the TV table. So if you have seats 1 through 24, you're always going to be front and center for everything that we have. The rest, you'll not be front and center for the 3 challenge matches, so those are a little less expensive.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I mean, the challenge matches are the tournament's going to be awesome because of the depth of the level of play, but then these challenge matches are going to be really, really cool. And the one I would really want to watch, and I'm going to steal your thunder here a little bit, is the second one, which is the doubles. I mean, Efren and Boosty are up against Corey Deuel and Mike Deshane. 8-ball Scotch doubles, race to 21. I just think you're going to see some pool, you know.
Yep. And there's Justin's handiwork. There's the graphic for that match, July 21st. The OB Challenge.
Yes, sir.
And purely by coincidence, not really, Mike Deshane and Corey Deuel are sponsored by OBQs.
Yeah, but we made the match up a little bit before we got the sponsorship, you know. But getting Efren, I'm not saying this is going to be Efren's last American, because Efren is the man, and we want to see him here all the time. But he goes through phases where he cuts down his travel. He's 56, 7, something now.
Not sure.
And I don't expect to see him over here like he used to come over here. So this will probably be one of the most extensive venues you see him at, you know, because he's involved in quite a few things. So it's going to be cool. Speaking
of challenge matches, the first one will be July 17th. And this is one that's pretty highly anticipated.
This is the one that's anticipated, yeah.
A lot of people have called me from back east and said, oh, yeah, a group of us are getting together. We're going to get the pay-per-view. It's like the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, people have been talking about this match for 5 years.
Yep.
You know?
It just never has happened. But it's going to happen July 17th. Shane Van Boning versus Pinyi Ko or Ko Pinyi, whichever you prefer. Some people say he's got the break in the game to match Shane. I don't know. Jury's out. We're gonna maybe get a taste anyway.
In the China Open, Pinyi Ko was 17th and Shane was 5th. That doesn't really tell you that much. It depends who you played and everything. But you know, I mean, he's got 17th out of 64. He's a former world champion. The boy can play, and he's probably like 26 or something now. He's a couple years younger than Shane.
You know, here's the thing people need to remember, Mark, and most of us know this already, but Shane could come out and win this match 21-3.
Could.
They could play again the next day, and Ko could win by the same score.
Well, it's interesting that
whoever plays better in that particular set.
And it's interesting because they are going to play again, because in 8-ball they're in the same bracket.
They are.
And so that's going to be another little twist.
Actually, I think it's 10-ball.
Maybe it's the 10-ball.
I think in 10-ball they're in the same group.
So they're in the same grouping. So we get to see them match up more than once. And
yep, there it is. Group A for the 10-ball, Shane Van Boning and Pinyi Ko.
Yeah. So, well, we got this is going to be incredible. This is going to be fun. Yeah. And then don't forget the third challenge match.
The third one is July 22nd. It'll be we think anyway, our last challenge match of the series.
And this is a Tiger.
July. This is the Tiger Challenge. Dennis Orcolo versus Junglin Chang. Which, by the way, if you were listening earlier, Junglin Chang is the highest finisher in the China Open out of all these folks.
Came in third. So,
you know, the big debate is how are the Taiwan guys going to handle the travel part?
Well,
I think they'll be fine.
I bet you they come in a day or two early or something. They do this. And, you know, remember their quote manager was basically baiting everybody, says, we'll play anybody for any amount. Just tell us who you want us to play. So, okay.
Yeah, he wanted me to be the bookmaker. I told him he'd have to handle that on his own.
So they're coming to gamble. And don't forget, pay-per-view, you get to watch, if you buy the full package, you get to watch the 3 challenge matches, the 8-ball and the 10-ball. And again, as I said before, if you're in the hotel, you get to watch these free. So
I just noticed, is it coincident that my head is like directly in front of the cue ball on the logo?
Well, it's not a red dot.
That's a Justin.
It might be a measle ball, though.
Justin, that's a joke, right? Putting me in the cue ball. That's nice. Nice touch, Justin.
Speaking of cue balls, we should mention that originally we were going to be using the measle ball, and we do have a sponsorship, a very generous sponsorship package from Cyclop, and we felt it was only right that we use the Cyclop cue ball, since that's everything else in the whole building is Cyclop. So we'll be using the Cyclop cue ball for the challenge for the 9-foot table events.
For everything.
For everything.
Yep.
So.
Special Pro-Am event.
Yep.
You want to elaborate?
Well, that's one that we haven't got all the bugs worked out on yet. There's a lot of moving parts to this thing. So some of the things they get down to, yeah, we do advanced planning. We think about it for a year. We make the decision 12 hours before the event.
I made a note to myself today, by the way, in our staff meeting. Need to work out details for Pro-Am. It's on the
The
list.
concept is to take the 16 players and find them a partner. And the real concept there is for the people that want to play. If you wanted to be a partner of these 16 top players, you bid. We have an auction. But it has to go fast. We can't get into this 2 and 3 hour. It can either be a Chinese auction, the blind, where you do a blind auction, or just have an auction and just do it fast. And whoever wins, like you want to play with Efren, you just be high bidder. He's your partner. It'll be Scotch doubles, probably races to 3 or 4. We have to time it out, see how it, and do it. So it has to be done in one afternoon. And probably 60, 70% of the money will be paid out. The other balance will go to the junior program. So, so you get to this way. You get to play with one of these 16 players. Now, granted, it's going to be an interesting situation because there's going to be language barriers and other things. So you will be able to coach your partner. I mean, because he'll be pointing and.
Hey, pool is an international language.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, but it gives the opportunity for some people to play with a real live champion that you might really be a super fan of, and that's a pretty unique opportunity. It's one of the beauties of pool. Try this in golf. Yeah, you're going to be bidding $50,000, $100,000, to be playing have Tiger Woods as a partner or something. But and even then, you still got to hit the ball. This is where you can give you shape and be he'll give you the opportunity to miss the easiest shot in the world, no problem.
No pressure there.
So that's going to be fun.
And also, July 21st, actually the 20th through the 22nd, but on the 21st and 22nd, between the invitationals, we're also going to be streaming for free through the CSI website the American Rotation National Championship.
That's the Joe Tucker. For people, it's run through the American Billiard Club. Still a great game, great concepts. Calling a spade, we're again having a difficult time getting enough people to really sign up to make it a viable enterprise. So if you have any thoughts about it, you better get in now because we're trying to make it work. It's a great concept. It allows you to test your mettle without eating the expenses of travel. You can do it out of your home room. If you get to the finals, you go to a regional, and that's the only time. If you go to the regionals, you get compensated for it enough so you can't lose any money on there. And if you win the regionals, to the point you get to go to the nationals, then you're guaranteed $1,000, which pays all the expenses. So it allows you to play against possibly the best players in the country, and it's a game called American Rotation. It's 15-ball rotation. Everybody that plays it really likes it. You've played it quite a bit. It's really a good game. Mike
Deshane's involved in it too, and I think I saw a post by Joe Tucker that he advanced.
Did he? Okay,
to be expected. So he'll be playing in that as well. He's going to be a busy guy.
He's going to be a busy boy. Yeah.
Yep. Well, we've talked about the BCA National Championships. We've talked about the pro events.
Well, you got to talk about that we're having a lot of mini tournaments and stuff like that at the nationals. We have one whole room dedicated. Other than a couple of days when we need it for, it's going to have 48 tables.
Yep.
And strictly for minis.
And I did mention earlier the player membership for $25.
Yes, sir.
If you're not a league member, you can still play in the singles and doubles events. But another thing I'd like to point out, and Justin's got on the screen, those are all the events.
Yeah, I don't even know how many there are. It's 36 or something?
I think.
Is it?
Yeah, 36. That's not including
the pro stuff.
It's not including the USA Pool League events or the trick shot events.
That's right. We have the World Trick Shot event going on too, which starts the first Thursday. Starts Thursday evening, Friday, Saturday, and maybe into Sunday.
Yep. So. Justin, if you could scroll to the very top of that, okay, right there. If you notice, folks, the first line, the white line that says triple play, something I want to point out to all the folks that normally would want to come out to the U.S. Open events. Right there, the triple play, and it says July 16th through the 22nd. If you sign up for that option, it puts you in 3 separate events: the 9-ball challenge, the 10-ball challenge, and the Grandmaster 8-ball, which I think we kind of made an executive decision today. Next year, it's going to be called the 8-ball challenge.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But those are 3 events back to back that all you folks that would normally come out for the U.S. Opens, you can play in those 3 events. They are on 7-foot tables, but hey, it's going to be great.
It's a shootout.
And if you sign up, you can sign up for each one of those individually if you'd like. But if you sign up for the triple play, you get a $55 discount on your entry fees. So that's the way to go, and you can be there all week to partake in all these other things that we've been talking about. The 9-ball challenge is July 16th and 17th. The 10-ball challenge is the 18th and 19th. And the 8-ball event is the 20th through the 22nd. So they're all back-to-back. Lots of great action for all you folks. And please remember this. As you're getting in your entries before the 16th and you're making your hotel reservations, please use our group reservation link on our website. It's on every one of our websites for a couple reasons. One, you'll get a better rate. More importantly, you're going to avoid the resort fees, which are often not advertised.
Never now, and they're $18 per night.
Yep. So you can avoid that by using our group reservation link. If you're one of those folks that don't like to make purchases online and you want to call the hotel and make your reservations, that's fine too, but use our group code, all capitals, SRCUE4, right there on the screen.
Yep.
That is the code you need to use, and you'll avoid all those resort fees.
Yeah, and something to pay attention here. I know we read AZ Billiards and everything else, and you'll see people saying, oh, I can stay at the Riviera, or I can stay at the here or there for $39. Or sure, you might get one night here and one night there. The Gold Coast is a nice place next door. They had some decent rates, but 2 or 3 days, they have a bowling tournament or something, so their weekends were gone. And you know, we really do try to negotiate the best prices. The fact that our block doesn't include the resort fees is kind of monstrous. When we made the deal, they didn't have resort fees. Caesars was the no resort fees, and they finally just caved in like everybody else, and they all went resort fees, and it adds up.
But thankfully, because the deal was made prior to that, we have no resort fees when you use our code.
And it's,
Well, shifting gears just a bit.
You go right ahead.
We did. We announced it 2 weeks ago, but I just want to bring the point out again. We had Tom Rossman come in.
Yeah, I wasn't here. You guys had a good time with Tom.
Well, Justin had a good time with Tom. I caught like 5 minutes one day. But Tom Rossman came in and filmed, Justin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, 36 segments, instructional segments, and we're calling that the CSI Instructional Series with Tom Rossman. And Justin has organized those in very nice, neat playlists. So you can look at a playlist on fundamentals, for example, or maybe you're interested in kicking and banking, or you can watch the whole thing from start to finish.
And he's got, he's got some pretty good knowledge floating around. He's been doing this for years, and he has a way of teaching that you can understand what he's saying, too.
Yep.
He's very, very, very good.
Justin, is it possible to play like the intro clip?
Yep.
Here's the intro, folks, just to give you a flavor.
Oh, there's an ad. It's an ad to the intro.
Sometimes the video's choppy on this input over the network.
Okay.
There's no audio.
No audio?
Yeah.
So this is just basically a intro clip that Tom put together, but you can see it's pretty high quality. It may look a little choppy just because we're streaming it from a computer through a computer, but fantastic. I actually sat down and watched every one of them.
Oh, really?
They were great. Yeah, I mean, even,
well, you need them.
I do need them. I do need them. I can't make 2 balls in a row.
Just trying to get you action. Out of all 37 people watching this, there's got to be 1 or 2 suckers out there that want to play you.
I don't know if I won any action. I got smoked last night. But
oh, really? Did you play Teddy?
He barreled me, man.
Well, Teddy, he's talking about Teddy Garahan, who at one time could play pretty damn good.
Teddy, I'm ruining your action right now. He cut through me like hot butter.
Wow.
Worst beating I've ever taken.
Well, you haven't played me yet.
Did you know who he was?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they played a couple times
I beat
before.
him before, but, boy, he smoked me last night. But humbling. Anyway, different topic. Anyway, those videos are fantastic. Especially, I really enjoyed the banking and kicking ones.
He's got some great those two rail kicks. He's got some great
and
kicks.
I tell you, the littlest, I appreciate the little things in life. The way he numbered the diamonds with the
Yeah.
balls. And just the way he explained his method of kicking,
Yeah.
it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I
No.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But anyway, folks, those are on the CSI YouTube channel, absolutely free. Something we wanted to do for all of our league members. And, you know, because if people learn a little more about the game,
Sure, it makes it more passionate.
they'll have more fun. They'll have more fun on the table.
And then on the same YouTube channel, Justin's still putting up some other stuff. We have some stuff from the bar table, the U.S. Open, one pocket, U.S. Open 10 balls. I don't know which ones are up there and everything, but there's always more coming. So
Well, every recorded match from the U.S. Bar Table Championships is there.
okay,
So lots of fantastic videos, and more will be added as we go.
Yeah. Which, by the way, the dates are set for the U.S. Bar Table next year. Still in Reno, still at the Grand Sierra. February, let's see, we move in on the 12th. It's like the 21st through the 29th. It's 1 week prior to where we were last year.
Just say early next year.
Yeah.
Nobody
Well,
will
it's
remember.
starts. Let's see, February 14th, I think, is Valentine's Day.
We
like
are
the 16th of February or something.
Well, we
for
talked
9
about
days,
this in
yeah.
the meeting. We're gonna post the dates.
We
for
got
that,
too many
just-
things going on.
Just so the
yeah.
other tournaments in the area know when
Yeah,
they'll
for
book.
date equity.
Yep.
And then also we have the Southwest Regional that's coming up at the end of August, very end, last 4 or 5 days of August, around Memorial Day.
We have lots going on, don't we?
Well, if you do your job there, we could put some of these things to bed. But you know, these East Coast, they lollygag. You know, you do know
You
what
have to
lollygag
pay, you have
means,
to
don't
pay
you?
for quality. You haven't paid for it yet.
That's true.
Oh, you want to talk about the BCA Pool League sanction fee issue?
No, I'll let you handle that one.
All right. We talked
you-
about it
you know.
last time, but Mark thought it was a good idea if we
I think it needs to be.
tackle it again.
Yeah. People have to understand some things.
So I'll try to give the condensed version, but at the same time give the topic justice. We recently changed the policy, the BCA Pool League policy. Prior to 2004, correct me if I get any of this wrong. No, prior to 2009. Prior to 2009, the policy was $10 per player per league.
Per league.
If you played in 3 leagues, you paid the sanction fee 3 times. Okay. In 2009, because everything increases, prices increase all around us, Mark and CSI decided that the fees had to go from $10 to $15.
They hadn't gone up in 15 years or something like that,
Sure.
and we were doing a lot more. So.
But Mark, and in my opinion, this was a very noble attempt.
It was. Yeah, we tried. Yeah, but go ahead. Yeah.
But Mark decided that, well, we don't want to hammer the folks that really go out and play a lot any more than we have to. So the policy was put in place. If you play in more than 1 league, you only have to pay 1 time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been the policy since 2009. At the time, didn't seem like an issue, and it could be easily managed. However, over the last few years, it's become evident to everybody, everybody being everybody on our staff.
Everybody that has to work with this stuff, it's quite evident. Yeah.
It just, folks, trust me when I say it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And let me explain, I'll just take a couple minutes. First of all, you have to understand that the BCA Pool League is a sanctioning body for leagues. We sanction and support leagues, not really individuals. So lots of people have put up the comment, well, I can't believe you're doing this to us. I should be able to pay, and you have a database that tracks me.
Yeah.
That's not the issue.
We have databases. We know who you are.
Well, we
Yeah.
have a very sophisticated database. It's state of the art, in my opinion, and I've seen databases. But the issue really is twofold. The first thing is leagues. These leagues are independent leagues all across the country, and they can choose to sanction with the national office, the BCA Pool League, and they'll receive all the benefits and support that comes along with that. But different leagues sanction at different times. So take this scenario. You have a league on Monday night,
Right.
and let's say it's a relatively large league. It has 100, 150 players. And that league operator collects the $15 from all the players on Monday night. Well, 50 of those players, and I'm using an extreme example just to illustrate the point, 50 of those 150 players also want to play on a Wednesday night league run by a different person.
Yeah.
Okay? So the Wednesday league is much smaller, much easier to control, those 50 players show up on Wednesday and say, hey, Cindy, I already paid with Mark on Monday night.
Yep.
And Cindy says, oh, no problem. I'll just mark you down as already paid. Cindy sends in her paperwork immediately because she's on the ball and she's only got 50 players to manage. We at the national office receive the paperwork.
Yeah, we don't
So
know
we
what's
have to
going
sanction a 50-player league, and it can be, you know, Cindy's league, number 992, or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
50 players. We have to go into the database. Some of those players may already be in the database, and we mark them as being in Cindy's league. Maybe some of them are new. They've never sanctioned with us before, so we have to take the time to enter all those folks into the database. But then we look at the paperwork, and these folks say that they've already paid Monday Night League, and we have nothing
We
for
have
Monday
nothing.
Night.
We don't even know Monday Night League exists.
We don't even know it exists. So then that even doesn't seem too bad until you take into account that our folks have to get on the phone and try to figure out what's going on. Where is this league? Who's running this league? What other players are we missing?
Right.
And it just
consumes
it just
all the
doesn't
time.
work.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
not a database issue.
No, it isn't. I wish people would, my pet peeve, people put these comments about this and other topics thinking they know what's going on. I'll say it again. I've said it before. If you got a question and you really want to know what's going on, pick up the damn phone, because it causes stress for us. We're trying to update the information. We take time to make some posts on Easy Billiards and other things and give you accurate information. So if you want to post something, please try to get accurate information.
Well,
It's very misleading, and it's turned some things that can make it sound very negative when that's not the truth, and now that's injuring us or
Well,
the industry or whatever the topic is.
And here's another comment that
Yeah,
seems fairly common when you try to explain this to people. They'll say, well, why can't you set it up to where I can just sanction with you individually, and my league operator can go to some website and see that I'm paid? Well, you were a big fan of that.
I am a big fan of that, but on paper it sounds great. But you're infringing upon the league operator's territory. They're going to say, no, those are my players.
Well, exactly,
You know,
and that's a point. That's a point I
yeah.
wanted to make too. That I think a lot of people have a misconception. The BCA Pool League does not own your league. Your league operator owns your league.
Yeah, we're a sanctioning body.
We simply sanction that league and provide support and all the benefits that come along with it, but it's not our league to manage or control. It's the league operators. So when you start throwing out an idea like get them to sanction directly with us and cut out the league operator,
It got so far.
you can't do it.
It's the same thing that one thread says, well, you can just make them all use diamonds. Sure, we'll just pick up the phone, call every league operator and say, you have to play on diamonds because our national's on diamonds. And I said, but you can't do that. The guy says, yes, you can. I says, well, sure, we can. We'd probably end up with 80% of the league disappearing, but that's okay. I mean, it's just not as simple as somebody sitting at home watching TV thinks it is. It's a very complicated, small industry. And our job is to work with people as best we can. We want to keep the league operators happy. We want to keep the players happy. And we want to keep ourselves reasonably happy. So it's a juggling match at times. We try our best. It just hurts my feelings and stuff where people make it sound like we're stupid because it's a database problem. I said, no, it's not. You're not getting it. You know, if you don't have the information, the best database in the world is not going to help you one iota. And you say, well, make the league operator go faster. Easy to say, tough to do. They're there at their pleasure, our pleasure. We have no hammer. You know, they send it in kind of when they want to send it in. We exert pressure. Say, well, it's a tough deal. You know?
So that's one side of the coin. There's another side of the coin that to me is more important. To you, I think the first one is more important. But let's take that same scenario. 150 players Monday night, 50 players on Wednesday night. Let's look at the Wednesday night league that has 50 players that have already paid in Monday. So we get their sanctioned paperwork. Our staff spends the time making sure that those folks are sanctioned with that league in our database so we know what league they belong to. And then we have to support that league, that Wednesday night league. And there are lots of benefits that come along with being a sanctioned BCA Pool League. For lack of a better term. So we print out membership cards for that particular league, patches, pins, league posters, rule books. We answer calls. If
A lot of
anybody-
rules questions. We have one
anybody-
person dedicated to that. You know,
Anybody in the league can call us at any time with a question or concern, and we'll take the call. And it's not an answering machine.
Yeah.
It's a person that will answer your question on the spot. Fully staffed office. Anytime you have a problem, you can call us. Not just a league operator, but any member.
Sure.
Any member of the league.
we're
and
pretty
we-
transparent.
And this is
Pretty
something
open.
that I personally, Mark, didn't realize how much the league would do is resolving conflicts. And you wouldn't believe the number of conflicts.
There are, and there's some that are they're just little itty bitty like. We're playing in the finals, and my league operator's brother-in-law substituted. Well, he'd played weeks before, but he hadn't played for 4 weeks. And there's these things that, and when you get the first phone call, you usually get about half the information. And 6 phone calls later, which there's a couple hours, and there's always issues, and there's rules issues like what happens if this happens or that happens, and
Well, and
It's-
in the conflicts, the ones that opened my eyes quite a bit more was, and this really highlights the benefit of being sanctioned with the BCA Pool League is, let's say you have 2 leagues in the same area, and one league is trying to steal players from another league. Dog eat dog world, right?
not acceptable behavior.
Well, let's say one of those leagues is BCA Pool League and one is some other organization. There's not a thing we can do to help you because you might be sanctioned with us, but if this other organization's league is going after your players, we can't help you.
Right.
But if both of those leagues are sanctioned with us,
We can.
then we can get involved and try to help resolve that conflict so that both leagues can peacefully and successfully coexist. And we do a lot of that, an awful lot of that, and we spend a lot of time doing that, and I feel like that's a vital function that we serve.
Well, it is a vital function because everybody can, not everybody does, but you can read AZ Billiards and say, I got a complaint with my alphabet soup league operator, and they can call up and they get no response. I mean, that's one thing. We may not get all the right answers, but we're there to answer the phone. We really do try, and we're there. We'll listen to you, bitch. We'll listen to whatever. We really do try. That's the biggest thing that's important.
So,
You know.
kind of got off on the
No,
conflicts issue, but
they're important.
the point is that we do a lot to support our leagues and to make sure that they're successful. Well, in that scenario with that 50-player league on Wednesday night, we would get 0 for that.
Right, because they'd already
Zero,
sanctioned.
because they've already
paid their
paid in
sanctions.
another league, and that, folks, that's just not sustainable. This isn't a revenue grab. It's going back to a basic premise that we sanction leagues, and regardless of whether those players are new or existing, the cost to sanction the league is the same.
There's costs. There's a lot of database. You got to put the information in. We have to verify their stats when they want to play in a tournament because you have to play so many weeks. And David had there's a couple of examples we came up with, but he said, well, I want to go watch Spider-Man, you know, and I watched it over in this theater here on Tuesday night, but it was way across town because the other theater was busy, and I liked it. But I liked it so much, I took my wife to it 2 days later across town. And they tried to charge me again to watch the movie.
It's the same
I don't
movie.
understand. Here's my old stub. Don't I get to watch the movie again? I mean, come on. No, you occupying the same, different chair, you know. And it's the same kind of concept, you know. I like mine better because everybody loves to hate DMV. I says, tell you what, you mail your, you know, I'll sell you a car and you mail the paperwork in and I'll carry it in. And when we go there to pay the fees, you say, oh, no, I've already paid my fees. I mailed it in. They're going to look at you and say what? You know, and that's the problem we have. People mail it in. People sit on it. They don't mail it. They say they mail it. And you're just not going to get satisfaction unless it's right in front of you.
Yeah.
And it's a people problem. And you can't control. We have 498 leagues as of right this minute. And they're all good people. They're all trying to do the right thing. But you can't herd them like cattle and make them all do the same thing at the same time. It's just not going to happen. Or we might as well get 8 more people in our staff, and then.
Well, and
you know,
that's another
you
point.
know.
I'd like, you know, in some of these threads and comments, people make the comparison. Well, this league does it. Well, yeah, they might do it because it's a different model. They control the league from soup to nuts. They own your league.
Mm-hmm.
They completely control your league, and they control your league operator. The BCA Pool League is not like that, so it's a false comparison.
Yes.
I will say, what a lot of people don't understand is some of these leagues, these situations we're talking about, are not different league operators.
And they're going to get resolved because this is an obvious. I know where he's going, and he's absolutely right.
You'll have one league operator that may run a league out of the same room in some cases on different nights and form those as separate leagues with separate league
Sure.
numbers.
Tuesday night, Monday night, Thursday night.
Yep. So what we've asked them to do or consider is, hey, make one league, one large league, and just have different divisions. We sanction the league
Problems
all at
eliminated.
once. Everybody pays one sanction fee. We don't care how many nights you play.
And it makes it easier on us.
Because we don't have to re-sanction the same people all over again. And the problem is solved. And that's going to solve a lot of the problems. Because there are a lot of areas where that's the issue.
Yeah, so,
folks, that's the explanation of why the policy change is necessary. One lady called me up a few days ago, Mark. I don't even know if I told you this, but she was very upset about this change. And I said everything I've just said in front of the camera to her. And she was very quiet. And I said, ma'am, are you still with me? And she said, yeah, I'm here. I said, okay, well, did any of that make sense to you? She said, yes, it made perfect sense, but I still don't like it. I said, well, I'm sorry. I didn't know what else to say.
Yeah,
but those are the real reasons, folks. It's not a revenue grab, regardless of what you may see on Facebook.
Indirectly, it is a revenue grab, because what it's really doing is it decreases our expenses, because we don't have to keep chasing down whether you're in this league and you're the same person, because that's the other problem. I'll put down Mark Griffin on one application, and I'll put M. Griffin on another. That's not the same person as far as computers go. And the guy said, well, I'm in both leagues. And those are the type of issues you run into. And now it takes somebody in our office a half an hour to resolve that issue. So what little we made off of the $15 in the first place just disappeared.
Yep.
And so if we can decrease the amount of time we have to spend and be more efficient, that's decreasing our expenses. So.
But now I'd like to talk about a good change.
You do that.
We heard from a lot of league operators, and one of the things that seemed to be a problem for them was their ability to get substitute players in their leagues. The policy, the previous policy, I'll call it now, since June 1st has come and gone, the previous policy was every player had to pay a sanction fee even if they just played one match.
If you played one, because once they get into the system, yeah.
And that hurts the ability to get substitute players, because you truly might have a guy that's just sick and you need a sub for him. Well, a sub doesn't want to pay a $15 sanction fee just to get up and
play
off the bar stool and play one night. So it made it a little tougher. So we heard you, and we decided to change that policy. So now anybody that plays just 1 week does not have to pay the sanction fee. Right. And hopefully that'll ease the burden a little bit.
That'll help, yeah. But we don't want people saying, but we should let them play 4 weeks, because that gets a little ludicrous, because you can't. It starts messing up everything. You know, you've got people playing in leagues that you can't track. You don't know. It's just
and the intent is to make it easier to get true substitutes, not a guy that just wants a free swing for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So we hope that that's going to be beneficial to leagues. We want to do what we can to make the national organization successful, but also all of the independent leagues out there successful as well. So
that's it. Let's get into it. We're going to have to get through our questions.
One thing I will say,
was
the new BCA Pool League 2014-2015 poster is done. It's ready to send out. If you would like a BCA Pool League poster for your league, or if you're thinking about forming a league and you want a poster to try to recruit players, all you got to do is contact us. We'll send it out absolutely free. Justin did a great job on that poster. I don't think, Justin, do you have that handy? No. Okay, it's not handy to put up on the screen, but we'll put it on our website, and it's looks good.
Let's blow through some of these questions real quick, because I know Justin has some. I'm going to take them a little out of order, because these are really simple answers.
Okay.
Whitey asked, I was wondering what the deal is with phenolic tips on break and jump cues. Are they legal? We removed the ban on break cues. Just was not enforceable. It never was a point on jump cues. So that's a done deal. Mr. Mason, has CSI ever considered having the BCA Pool League Championship somewhere other than Las Vegas? The costs are just so prohibitive. Number one, our office is here. I know where he's referring to is Atlantic City. Total union, you're screwed, man. I tell you, it just takes the prices off the charts.
Do you think there will ever be another tournament in New Jersey?
A big one? Oh, I don't know. That last time,
issues.
that's tax issue with that. Oh, that too. It's just tough. Vegas is the place where they belong. I understand. I'd like to move them around, and we've thought about maybe doing a singles event. Like years ago, the Poconos, the BCA did one that did. So it's not off the table, but for something with the 300 pool tables and 6,000 players. First of all, there's not a place in Atlantic City big enough. And a lot of those are older hotels, even though they're newer ones, but
Probably not a place anywhere.
you can't get them in and out. You can't get the tables in. You can't get the trucks in. You can't. It's just a different concept. No, so. Can you answer some of these other ones? Bella, don't cry. Specific dates and times when and where the pro players will be signing autographs. As they finish their matches, they will be assigned to, I can tell you exactly where they're going to be. They're going to be right in front of the tournament desk. It's 2 bar tables numbered A and B. That's all they're for, is for the pros to give lessons and sign autographs.
Well, and I will
it's
say
16 hours a day total time.
Table A and B, and they'll be very noticeable because they'll be positioned differently than all the other tables. But there will be signs in front of those tables with a schedule for when every player will be there, and it will be every day, the 18th through the 25th.
Right. So once you get here, you'll be able to follow that. It's going to be crowded. I mean, don't expect personal lessons. You want to spend 10 minutes with Efren Reyes? Good luck. So do 300 other people.
Unless you're lucky enough that nobody else shows up.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen. Yeah. Okay, and then you can take care of the other ones.
Boogeyman. Boogeyman?
Yeah.
Or man. Must be a typo.
Yeah.
Can you please address, only asking for your opinion. I don't know. Does anybody want my opinion?
Yeah.
The issue of U.S. players in Asia. Why do you feel our players don't finish high over there? Do you think it's a factor of culture shock, time difference, or do you think the quality of play is simply that much better? I mean, in China, there are so many players, which translate into more opportunities for better players to emerge. That's a different
Number
question.
2 is, yeah.
So, I'm probably not knowledgeable enough to answer
I
that
don't
question.
think anybody is. If they knew the answer.
I'll defer to the answer Shane gave for that very question. Okay. And he said it's just tough to travel. You get in a new place. You're jet lagged. You don't know where you are.
Yep.
The diet is completely different.
Yep.
Your sleep is thrown off.
Yep.
And he said it's just plain tough. And I'll take him at his word for it.
There's some people adapt to it better than others don't. And it depends when your draw is. Do you play at 9 in the morning? Do you play at 3 in the afternoon? There's so many variables.
Well, hey, there's a lot of people saying that Copigny, for example, that could be a factor when he plays his challenge match.
It could.
Machine.
It could. So. As far as why does the U.S. Amateur Finals always seem to be held on the East Coast? Not our event. Talk to the APA. What can I say?
Don't know.
Don't know.
All right. Oh, this
Big Deal 52.
You want this one? You're pretty passionate about
I'll skim this. There's comments on the forums about a lower number of amateur registrations for the tournaments at the Rio. Is that true? I alluded to that a little earlier. You're looking at numbers that are 60% there. We know the numbers are 60% there. Obviously, you do too, but you're trying to think that they're 100% there. The true numbers won't be up till 2 weeks after we get the applications. We have to verify them all. We don't just push them through. I mean, especially like the leisure division. Every person is contacted. Every person in that leisure division is scrutinized to see if they're of that level, because that's the lowest level. Our numbers are very, very close. I want to say within 2% of last year internally. That's not what has been verified, but numbers are numbers. If that's what they were last year, I'm sure they're going to be that this year. So I'm not worried about the numbers. And this is where, the post on AZ Billiard just seemed to be, it started taking a negative tone, and that's what I don't like. And then towards the end, we had a lot of people saying, I'm going, it's so much better. And I'm not trying to rag on the Riviera versus the Rio or anything else, but we moved for several reasons. We needed to get bigger. We had no space at the Riviera. We had no option in the July dates. I'd like to think that someday down the road we can back up just a little bit. I don't want to be back in May. You guys saw May as the perfect answer. We heard about it because I can't come because of graduation. I can't come because it's Mother's Day. There's a million reasons. July avoids all those reasons. Big complaint, they say, is the heat. You're inside. It's 75 degrees. I don't care which hotel you're in. Nobody's playing outside at 110 degrees. I've seen it at 105 degrees in May, and I've seen it at, and granted, it's warmer in July, but somebody said the average temperature was like 18 degrees difference. I don't know if I'm going to buy that. But early May is pretty not so hot, and late May is. It's all.
I always chuckle at that argument, though, because
you're inside,
all the time.
But the only beef that I think was a really legitimate beef was the food pricing and availability. Our first year, we are jumping through some high water to fix that one. because it wasn't us. We kept telling them, you need this, you need this. Oh, no, listen, we can handle the World Series of Poker. We can handle you. Okay, we're not poker players, buddy. And I think they got a shock last year. They just didn't believe what we were telling them. You know,
well, they do now.
Nobody does.
And
So,
we've had a series of meetings
Yeah.
leading up to the tournament, and we're going to have more. But that's always
Yeah.
it's been a
Yeah.
feature topic, is we got to get
Yeah.
food prices
But
down.
I personally think this is going to be better than last year, mostly because of these challenge matches and the 16-man invitational and the more practice tables and the more minis and all that stuff. And it's really, really, I mean, we're trying to improve every year, you know. So, and I'm not saying that Big Deal was the one that made the original post, or that was the reason that the thread went the direction it went. It just, pool in general seems to have a lot of people that just have a lot of pleasure in making things negative. You know, and that's part of the industry's fault. We need to make things positive. We're quite convinced that we made the right decision, judging by all the facts known, of moving to where and when we did. And time will tell us right, or time will prove us wrong. But it's still, not just my opinion, but it's the best event there is. If a person's going to go to one event, this is the one they should go to. They get to see everything.
Yep.
You know?
Last question. While many pool tournaments in the U.S., including many of those
Oh,
run
yeah,
by
this
CSI,
paper,
are readily available
Yeah.
through live streaming, why are a lot of the international events not even streamed?
Because the instructions are in English and they don't speak English. Don't ask me. They have the technology, they have the skills. I mean, they can put rockets in the air. You think they could send a little itty-bitty signal over to your house so you can watch it. I got no idea. It's perplexing.
I got to believe that they don't desire to do it.
It's just,
They can do
well,
it.
some of them have it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it, and it's just an awareness. It'll get there. It will. It's a priority or non-priority. It's just, and nothing we can do about it really.
Well,
I know
Mark,
we're
we have 2 minutes for an Alaska story.
It's snowed in Alaska, not
That's a
yesterday.
shock.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have the tournament there so it's not so hot.
You know, you're right. I just hope everybody gives us a chance. I like what we're doing, you know, and it's, there was one other thing I was going to go into, but I'm not. We'll save it for the next one. It's going to be a juicy one. I'm telling you. You can, juicy.
I know which podcast
Yeah, you
I'm
do.
skipping.
Yeah, I know. It has 3 of the same letters that our BCA Pool League has.
APO?
Yeah, no. We're gonna have a little discussion on the BCA, the Billiard Congress of America, and you know their trade show's coming up in Louisville. I won't be going. Just a lot of issues that I think I deserve the right to make some. It's an editorial, unwritten editorial.
Video editorial.
Video editorial.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to our event in Rio. I think this is the way it's supposed to be, and I'm looking forward because I'm backing off my schedule. Mr. Ozzy is going to be taking care of a lot of the stuff that I've been doing or been trying to do. I'm not retiring, but I'm backing up a little bit, taking care of some personal things, and but we're not giving up. We keep trying to make it better and better. So I think we're on the right track. I think anybody that says we don't do very much, I invite anybody. I don't care who you are. I don't even have to like you. Come out and spend about a half a day in our office, and you're going to go away. Your eyes are going to be like saucers because we do so much more than you think we do. And it all comes from that $15 membership, which, you know, that's nothing. That's a movie ticket anymore. It's just, you know, so. And you can call us on the phone, and we will answer. If I don't like you, I'll let him talk to you.
That's what the girls upstairs do. They talk to the folks, and if particularly the irate ones,
Yeah.
give them to Ozzy.
Yeah. Well, you have to get subjected to all this abuse. Pool, we all love pool. Let's make it better. You know, let's improve it. Let's make it better, and that's what we're trying to do. And we're going to have more information out on our website. All the added monies, our booklets getting in the final stages, which will be electronic and then also hard copy at the venue. The main thing is if you have a question, pick up the phone. We're expecting somewhere, you know, high 5s to 6,000 players. We'll have actually a few less bodies than last year in total because last year we had 96 in one pro event and 96 in another pro event. That's 192 players. This year we only have 16. So there's, you know, but as far as the amateur numbers, pretty comparable at this point.
Yeah, it was funny when
Yeah.
and we'll get going, but when that came out, the guy on AZ Billiards said the numbers are way down from last year. He was looking at finished numbers, And if you go upstairs to all our tournament entries and they're getting processed, there's
Stacks.
like this that haven't even been looked at yet.
Yeah, and
because
it's
they
just,
came
it's
in.
so unfair. So then, you know, and so, but listen, if a person wants to think like that and go through life negative, that's fine. If a person's curious and wants to ask a question, we're really easy to find. We got email addresses and phones. Don't ask a personal question on a public forum because you never know where the direction's going. That's like herding cats. That thing goes everywhere. And that's one of the bad things about forums. I love the interchange, but freedom of speech can be terribly abused. And then it causes some of us trying to get out the right information. And you even said, like on Facebook, here's a guy saying, it's just a simple database problem, and you explain it, and they keep saying, but it's just a simple database problem. It's not. All these things are not as simple. If they were simple, believe me, we'd fix them. Well, although he can't because he is simple. But some of us are better than simple. We're double simple. That's how good we are.
I went 2 podcasts in a row without saying anything mean to you.
Well, yeah, but that's because, you know, I signed the check. I don't know. Actually, I don't sign the check. I should be careful on that. We all better be nicer to Glenna.
We are.
Oh, well, nobody told me. Listen, we're going to get out of here. Justin's got a hot date. We're going to go out and shoot something. Hopefully not people, but you never know. We appreciate everybody's patience and tuning in with us and all that kind of stuff. And we're always open to good suggestions. Somebody out there's got to have a couple of good suggestions. We'll even take some bad suggestions. And keep on shooting. See us in July. And check out the pay-per-view. You're going to have the numbers up on that. I mean, this is going to be the show. This one, between those 16 players playing 8-ball, those 16 players playing 9-ball, the 3 challenge matches, the American rotation, plus if there's any open time, which I don't think there's going to, we'll be throwing some other stuff. This is going to be some great depth. So thank you very much. I'm done. I'll shut up.
It was a pleasure spending the hour with you, Mr. Mark Griffin.
I know. I keep telling you, I wasn't even supposed to be here. He's supposed to find a replacement.
Just can't find anybody that good.
Nobody will put up with you. I'm the only one that'll do it. I keep telling you that. Jeez, you're slow. Man.
Good night, folks.